Welcome to Your Inner Power with Krista. This podcast is for the deeply intuitive ones, the curious ones, and the ones who follow their own path and embrace their uniqueness. We'll chat about all things spiritual, life's adventures, and always go back to deep self-trust because it's all within you. Let's dive in. Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to the podcast. We are now on episode 11, and today's episode is going to be all about what spirituality means to me and my definition of spirituality and how I look at spirituality. You may be wondering, as a full-time Akashic Records reader, how do I define spirituality? And what do I think makes me a quote unquote spiritual person? And I want to start off by saying that there's nothing that's going to make someone more spiritual than another. And there's no such thing as spiritual hierarchy to me. I don't look at things in that capacity whatsoever. So you can do all the meditations you would like to do, you can do all the spiritual practices that you would like to do, but that does not equal you being more spiritual than another person. Are those practices wonderful to do? Do I enjoy meditating? Do I enjoy doing things like reading my Akashic records? Of course I do. But I don't think that makes me more spiritual than someone else. So I will start off there with that note. But I want to say that spirituality is the human self and the divine self. That's what I believe, and integrating both of them and not looking at one better than the other, not looking at the human self less than the divine self. Because while we are on this planet navigating this life, we need to be in our human bodies. That is what we have to do here, right? We can't jump out of our human bodies and live this experience. In order to live this experience, we have to stay in our human bodies. So while we are in our human bodies, we have to learn how to navigate our lives through these bodies and understand our humanness and accept our humanness and fully be in our human. Being able to integrate that with understanding that you are a divine being, I think, is the secret to living a very fulfilling life. Being connected to your spirituality is not meant to be complicated. We are naturally spiritual beings. We are naturally divine beings. There is nothing that we need to do in order to be more spiritual. Like what I was saying before, you don't have to do a bunch of spiritual practices in order to be spiritual enough. I think when we look at things in that way, it can feel really overwhelming and it could force us to shut down and it could feel really unattainable. And that is not the point of spirituality. So if you are feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated in any way by any of your spiritual practices, I want you to come back to center and go back to the basics because there is nothing that you need to do to be spiritual enough. I think that's such an important point to drive home. I love my spiritual practices, but I am not less than if I meditate for only 10 minutes one day versus 30 minutes another day. I am not more spiritual on the day that I meditate for 30 minutes. Both days, I'm deeply connected to my divine self. I am deeply connected to my true nature. And that is what it is all about. And how can you do that? How can you find easy ways to always feel that connection in your life? And that will be different for everyone. Everyone is going to have different ways of connecting, but I believe they should be ways that feel really fun, exciting, and expansive for you, not like a chore in any way. You don't want to just check it off the list because then you're not doing it with intention. And that is the whole point. You want to do everything that you do in your life with intention, because when you understand that your intention is so powerful and that wherever you put your energy, your energy flows, that is when you can co-create magic. I want you to really take time to think about what spiritual practices you enjoy doing. Is it that you love channel writing? Is it that you love guided meditations? Is it that you love breath work? Is it that you love reading your Akashic records? Is it that you love going into nature and feeling that deep connection? It's going to be different for everyone. It's going to look different for everyone. And it's going to be different in everyone's lives based on the season of life that they are in. That is perfectly okay. And longer is not always better. It is all about intention. And just really go inward and see what works uniquely for each of us. And understand that there is nothing we need to do to be spiritual enough. I don't believe in any blind rules when it comes to spirituality. I watch TV. I enjoy watching reality TV. I enjoy watching really stupid shows about dating. I love Love is Blind, Love Island. I enjoy watching those shows. And are they dumb? Absolutely. But do I like watching them? Absolutely. And that doesn't make me any less spiritual. And on date night, I love a cocktail. I love having a cocktail and I love having delicious food that may not be as nutritious as what I normally eat, but that doesn't mean I'm any less spiritual. Again, let's just take a sigh and release the pressure, because the more that we release the pressure and allow ourselves to do as we please on our spiritual journey, the more the magic will unfold, the more that we will experience the magic. I don't believe spirituality is about fixing yourself in any way. There's nothing to fix about you, there's nothing wrong with you. It's really a remembering of who you truly are. We are so conditioned in the world that we live in to think a certain way, to act a certain way, to be a certain way. But ultimately, we each have our own individual ways of being that are perfect for us. And what are those? That is what is worth exploring and remembering. But we first have to decondition ourselves. It's not about fixing ourselves, because we were never that mask that we were wearing, that society told us to be, that family told us to be, that friends told us to be. That was just a mask. That was never us. So it's just about learning who you truly are. We are unlearning who we were told to be, or taught to be, or expected to be, and allowing ourselves to remember who we are and show up as that version. It's never about fixing, it's about remembering. You can't fix what you never actually were. Being spiritual doesn't make you any less of a human. You are a human and you are divine. You are both. So, living your human life is exactly what you are supposed to do. If you're just meditating to escape your real life and not implementing the experiences that you have in meditation in your waking life, you're missing the mark. When we allow ourselves to show up raw in our spiritual journey, when we allow those human emotions to come up, to come out, to just be without judgment, that's when we're able to go deeper and deeper. I've never accepted my humanity as much as I do right now. I was conditioned to believe that my humanity was bad and that there was something wrong with me and that it is sinful that I'm human and that somehow it's my fault that I'm in this human body and I need to say I'm sorry for being in this human body. That was what I was conditioned to believe. I've had to do so much unlearning when it comes to feeling guilty for my humanness and it being inherently sinful and not liking myself, really. Not liking myself, whether physically or the way I act or the way that I carry myself, just feeling like it's not good enough and it will never be good enough. That's the way I used to feel. And it was quiet sometimes and louder other times, but I just accepted that as truth until I woke up to the fact that my humanness is fine. It's perfect. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. I am human. And I accept myself when I'm crying on the floor in tears. I accept myself when I get angry. I accept myself with all of the messiness because that contributes to my spiritual journey. When I allow myself to fully accept it, I'm able to grow. If I'm constantly fighting against being human and my humanness, I can't get past that point. I'm just stuck there. If you're constantly fighting against your humanness, you're not going to be able to connect with your divine self. You need to accept your humanness as it is. Your humanness is a bridge to your divinity. It's not about choosing one over the other. I promise you that when you accept both, your spiritual experience, your life experience, your human life gets better and better. I'm going to leave this episode here for today. I hope you enjoyed and took something away from this. And I really hope that it just helps you release the pressure a little bit around what spirituality is, quote unquote, supposed to be. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Your Inner Power with Krista. If this episode resonated with you, please leave a rating and review. This helps my podcast grow and reach new listeners. You can connect with me on Instagram at Krista Nastu. And if you're feeling called to go deeper, links to work with me can be found below. Until next time, remember, everything you need is already within.